Good evening. The news summary for this Saturday, 5th December, to mark the International Volunteers Day, which is today. Volunteers from the Red Cross Society of Seychelles, RCSS, have conducted a survey to find out what people really understand about COVID 19. The 30 volunteers were deployed in several districts on Maé, Pralé, and Latigue to ask people various questions about the way they protect themselves from COVID 19 and to see if information about the pandemic is being correctly disseminated. The survey would also enable our CSS to evaluate the impact of their awareness activities. And the RCSS has also sent a message on Volunteers Day saying that this year's theme, Together we can through volunteering, reiterates the importance of volunteering and impacts that are made and continue to be made by committed individuals to think of others less fortunate. This year, the RCSS and their 80 volunteers have been at the forefront of major events: the COVID 19 pandemic, the landfill fires, and the general elections. The Red Cross Society of Seychelles says many volunteers who have faced difficulties of their own whilst helping others find the satisfaction knowing that they have been able to contribute towards risk reduction and alleviating human suffering. The Citizens Engagement Platform, CEPS, who also have also sent a message on this occasion and say that this day is an opportunity to give value to and promote voluntarism across the world and in Seychelles, something they say have done something they have done through a variety of projects and activities organized by the NGO sector. It salutes the efforts of the government over the year for the fruitful partnership and encouragement received through grants and opportunities provided. CEPS has taken this opportunity to thank all volunteers for stepping up during the pandemic, assisting in communities and on the medical front. It urges all volunteers to come together during these difficult times to help combat social economic ills in the society. Three possible burial sites in Seychelles are emerging as the most likely options for Gérard Wao's final resting place. The murdered dissident's brother has told SBC News that his family, his supporters, and the government are in discussion. The three sites pinpointed by the Gérard Wao Foundation include two in Mahé and one on Pralé, where he was born.
Bernard Sullivan, whose family own a private graveyard at Beauvallon, hopes soon to welcome home his dead ally, and he's willing to donate a plot to accommodate a lost friend.
We're thinking of maybe, having a monument placed here. It will be very emotional for plenty of people. Very emotional. Bring closure to the whole situations.
The 3-acre site next to Berjaya Beauvallon Bay has for more than a century been the final resting place of colonial governors, prominent Seychellois and family friends. Supporters of the dissident murdered in London in 1985 have also proposed Montfleury Cemetery and a burial site in Pralin, his island birthplace.
It has to be deliberated within the family, first of all. We have to agree where Gérard will be buried.
Mr. Warrow confirmed that exhuming his brother's zinc casket from a grave in North London entails complex legal moves. Supporters and the government here will be consulted on their wishes. If this were to be the final resting place of Gérard Warrow, it would likely become a focal point for much of the grief arising from the coup d'etat and afterwards, and Gérard would be laid to rest among some of the country's best-known families.
It may well become a focal point, and that's one of our point of worries, is that Gérard has many admirers in the Seychelles, but I'm sure he also has a few opponents in the Seychelles. And we do not want any situation where his grave could be desecrated or anything. So it has to be a place that is probably which is pretty public, where people cannot come and do such acts of desecration on the grave and so on.
Wherever it's decided Gerard Wawro will finally be laid to rest, his homecoming is likely to be at least 6 months away.
A documentary based on the development of Seychelles from its first settlement until present time was premiered yesterday evening at the Deepam Cinema. The hour-long documentary is entitled A History of Seychelles from its origin to present day.
The documentary addresses subjects such as the people, the language, food, and art through pictures and interviews. It was produced with the help of historians, lawyer, cultural researcher, amongst others. It is a production of the Seychelles Tourism Board in association with the Department of Culture, Seychelles Heritage Foundation, National Museum, and the SBC. It was directed by James Dupré Multimedia. It is one of the last activities on the 250 years of Seychelles Committee to celebrate Seychelles' 250 years since its first settlement. Although lengthy, the document is only a preview of the many details found in the book A History of Seychelles from its origins to the present day, which will be released at a later date.
The book itself contains the history of Seychelles, a history of Seychelles during its 250th development, and it has very interesting themes that are explored in the book. We start off right at the beginning with the discovery, going right down to the modern times. So it is indeed a very interesting book, and it will give a different look on our history and development of Seychelles in its entirety.
The documentary will be aired this evening on SBC1 at 9:25 p.m.
6 students from secondary schools were rewarded for their work on environment protection. This prize-giving ceremony was the initiative of the NGO SICAT in regards to their work on seagrass. A study will soon determine how much carbon dioxide Seychelles seagrass absorb. In the category for poetry, Tara Michel won the first prize. She was followed by Chiara Florentine and Alvio Elizabeth. Liane Barallon, Miel Abel, and Eric Oredi were rewarded for their artistic work on ocean's vegetation. Liana Barallon, who won the first prize, said that she always have been interested in the ocean. Her goal became to become a lawyer to protect Seychelles waters. That's the end of this news summary. Join me at 8 for the news bulletin in Creole. Until then, have a pleasant evening.